Hey guys, in today's episode we're going to take a look at a piece from the Revenge of the Sith novelization that takes place during Anakin and Obi-Wan's rescue of the Chancellor. It's a book I highly recommend you guys read if you want it, as it makes the movie so much more enriched and colorful, because we get a better understanding of the characters' thoughts and their feelings behind so many of the different scenarios that we've seen. This piece in particular takes place during a deleted scene for the film where Anakin, Obi-Wan, and Palpatine can't find a ship in the Invisible Hand's hangar to escape from, and so they have to make it across this narrow ledge in order to find an escape pod. The ship begins to tilt and all the droids, including R2-D2, are thrown down into a large pile of other droid parts. What makes this piece so interesting is that we get to see Anakin's thoughts and anxieties over R2, how he's not responding on the comlink and how he's worried that he got destroyed amidst the chaos, and that he won't leave his small little friend behind. The reason R2 is so important to Anakin is explained perfectly in this passage that I will read for you now. Anakin desperately fished out his comlink. R2, come in. He shook it and shook it again. R2 couldn't have been destroyed. He just couldn't. R2, do you copy? Where are you? Anakin. Obi-Wan's hand was on his arm, and the Jedi Master leaned so close that his low tone could be heard over the rising gale. We must go. Being a Jedi means allowing things, even things we love, to pass out of our lives. Anakin shook the comlink again. R2. He couldn't just leave him. He couldn't, and he didn't exactly have an explanation. Not one he could ever give Obi-Wan anyway. There are so few things a Jedi ever owns. Even his lightsaber is less a possession than an expression of his identity. To be a Jedi is to renounce possessions, and Anakin had tried so hard, tried for so long to do just that. Even on their wedding day, Anakin had no devotion gift for his new wife. He didn't actually own anything, but love will find a way. He had brought something like a gift to her apartments in Theed. Still a little shy with her, still overwhelmed by finding the feelings in her he'd felt for so long within himself, not knowing quite how to give her a gift, which wasn't really a gift, nor was it his to give. Without anything of his own to give except his love, all he could bring her was a friend. I didn't have many friends when I was a kid, he told her, so I built one, and C-3PO had shuffled in behind him, gleaming as though he'd been plated with solid gold. Padme lit up, her eyes gleaming, but she had at first tried to protest. I can't accept him, she said. I know how much he means to you. Anakin had only laughed. What use is a protocol droid to a Jedi, even one as upgraded as 3PO? Anakin had packed his creation with so many extra circuits and sub-programs and heuristic algorithms that the droid was practically human. I'm not giving him to you, he told her. He's not really mine to give. When I built him, I was a slave, and everything I did belonged to Watto. Klieg Lars bought him along with my mother. Owen gave him back to me, but I'm a Jedi. I have renounced possessions. I guess that means he's free now. What I'm really doing is asking you to look after him for me. Look after him? Yes, maybe even give him a job. He's a little fussy, he admitted, and maybe I shouldn't have given him quite so much self-consciousness. He's a warrior, but he's very smart, and he might be of real help to a big-time diplomat, like, say, a senator from Naboo. Padme then extended her hand and graciously invited C-3PO to join her staff, because on Naboo, high-functioning droids were supposed to be respected as thinking beings, and C-3PO had been so flustered at being treated like a sentient creature that he'd been barely able to speak, beyond muttering something about hoping he might be able to make himself useful, because after all, he was fluent in over 6 million forms of communication. Then she had turned to Anakin and laid her soft hand along her jawline to draw him down to kiss her, and that was all he had needed. All he had hoped for. He would give her everything he had, everything he was. And there had to come another day, 2 years later, a day that had meant nearly as much to him as the day they had wed, the day he had finally passed the trials, the day he had become a Jedi Knight. As soon as circumstances allowed, he had slipped away on his own now, no master over his shoulder, no one to monitor his comings and his goings, and so he could take himself to the vast Coruscant complex at 500 Republica, where Naboo's senior senator kept her spacious apartments, and he had finally then, 2 years late, a devotion gift for her. He had then one thing he truly owned, that he had earned, that he was not required to renounce, one gift he could give her to celebrate their love. The culmination of the ceremony of Jedi Knighthood is the severing of the new Jedi Knight's Padawan braid, and it was with this that he laid into Padme's trembling hand. One long, thin braid of his glossy hair, such a little thing of no value at all, such a little thing that meant the galaxy to him, and she had kissed him then and laid her soft cheek against his jaw, and she had whispered in his ear that he had something for him as well. Out from the closet had whirred R2-D2. Of course Anakin knew him. He had known him for years. The little droid was a decorated war hero himself, having saved Padme's life back when she had been Queen of Naboo, not to mention helping the 9-year-old Anakin destroy the Trade Federation's droid control ship, breaking the blockade and saving the planet. The royal engineers of Naboo's aftermarket wizardry made their modified R units the most sought after in the galaxy. He tried to protest, but she had silenced him with a soft finger against his lips and a gentle smile and a whisper of, after all, what does a politician need with an astromech? But I'm a Jedi. That's why I'm not giving him to you, she'd said with a smile. I'm asking you to look after him. He's not really a gift, he's a friend. All this flashed through Anakin's mind in the stretching second before his comlink finally cracked to life with a familiar, and his heart unclenched. R2, where are you? Come on, we have to get out of here. High above on the wall that was supposed to be the floor, the lid of the battered Durasteel storage locker shifted, pushed aside by a dome of silver and blue. The lid swung fully open, and R2-D2 righted itself, deployed its booster rockets, and floated out from the locker, heading for the far exit. Anakin gave Obi-Wan a fierce grin. Let someone he loves passes out of his life? Not likely. What are we waiting for, he said. Let's go. Now the reason I love this part about the novel, and one of the reasons I wanted to make this video, is because it really makes us think about Anakin's psychology, how he was always thinking about Padme, and how he deals with his internal struggles about forming attachments. It's a pretty cool excerpt, and I love how we see all of this from Anakin's point of view. I wish we got to see more of this stuff in the film, or even the Clone Wars. I've always been super fascinated with Anakin and Padme's relationship, and to see little details like this are so cool to me. Thank you all so much for watching today's episode. If you can, please be sure to leave a like, as it really helps us out. And with that being said, we will see you all in the next episode of Star Wars Remnants. Until then, our fellow Force users.